have to go in and
You only retain
things that like people practicing black magic. Have to go in there and clean it up because I'm pagan.
You only retain. But here's the thing: when you
bigger and badder and scarier than scary things.
People,
that's it.
You bring to existence what you think about long enough.
No GTFO quick.
Then if you don't believe in it, let's say somebody like Jimmy. Okay, he's able to avoid all these things.
I hope he does. I hope he never has a problem
if he's able to do that, because it's when you become vulnerable, a weak point, you have to believe.
Well, when fear comes in, fear.
Okay, realistically, when you continually
you can't look at every bad thing that happens to you that you go through in life and say, "Oh man, that's because something's, the devil's coming down on me," or this is some kind of demonic.
Okay, understand when you continually ask. When you continually ask the question, why? The question alone, why, it's basically meaning that you chose not to want to retain or research.
Hey, I need you to kind of direct your questions back to Jimmy.
Sure.
All right. Or your statements.
Night. I'm gonna let it all hang out.
Doing the intro.
Now you need some headphones.
Welcome back to Speak Your Mind, WCBM listeners. My name is Derek Stroman, and you're listening to Speak Your Mind. And it's getting heated in here. I like these kind of conversations, these debates. Who believes, who doesn't believe, who follows, who doesn't follow, and we're talking to Mr. Bill Bean, the spiritual warrior. But before we go on, Mr. Bean, I want to give a big shout out and, much love to one of our sponsors, Diamond Detail and DiamondDetail.com, located at 10 Music Fair Road in Owings Mills, Maryland. We are still hiring at Diamond. I am an employee of Diamond, and, it's a prominent company, great benefits, a lot of positive stuff going on at Diamond. If you want to call, set up an appointment, the number to call is 443-281-8845. I'll give you that number again. It's 443-281-8845 if you are seeking employment. But let's get back to this conversation. And, Jimmy's, it's obvious that Jimmy Zane feels, a certain type of way. Now, I know Jimmy. Jimmy is an ex-police officer, and, those guys could be pretty stern. Kind of reminds me of my dad. It's old service guys. Those guys that just, they're kind of not so much set in your ways, Jimmy, even though you are.
I don't understand.
You don't buy into
some of this
kind
of stuff.
No, man, I don't
understand. What I don't buy is, here's the thing. No, there's demons everywhere. But whatever the definition of the word demon is, how do you expect people to worship something that takes away?
What do you mean?
God. Why are we to believe that we have to worship something or a spirit or something of a nature that destroys?
Don't forget all the different depictions of what people believe God is. And let's let Mr. Bean go ahead with what he was saying.
And Jimmy, you're entitled to your opinion. I respect that. But my belief is totally the polar opposite. And the reason I believe as strongly as I do is because I was saved from just garbage that you wouldn't believe. The way I grew up, the destruction of my family. I grew up on the streets. I hung out with the toughest and the roughest and the worst, and I should be in prison. I could be very, very easily be in prison.
You grew up around the corner from me. Trust me.
Okay, I've been there. I grew up on the streets.
Crime and stuff.
But it's all part of the journey. So in order for me to be where I am now, it was necessary for me to be there. So I don't, I wish I could change some things, especially when it came to the suffering of my mother. But other than that, it's part of the journey. I'm grateful to be where I am now. So I give God praise and thanks for the life that I have now. I understand that it was necessary for me to suffer in that way because it helps me to be a help to other people. People can relate to me.
That's very, very powerful. And I want you to continue on, but I'm going to bring in somebody, and this is why I decided to interrupt you right there, because I want this person on hold right now to piggyback off of what you're saying, because you was just with this individual, and I'm pretty sure this person can really go in a little more detail with you to explain what it is you do. Let's bring in this caller from Brooklyn Park. Or is it Brooklyn PD?
Miss Wolf.
Hey, how you doing there?
Hey, how's it going? Welcome to the Speak Your Mind show.
Thanks for calling.
How you doing? Yeah, I know, Mr. Bill Bean, but he brought up something to me, and it totally just went through the Bible and picked it up. They changed the Lord's Prayer.
Yeah, that's
true?
Steve. Hi, Steve. It is true, and I didn't want to dominate time here, but this is something that is taking place now. You could call me a lunatic, whatever you want to say, but I say do the research for yourself. There is something taking place right now with the CERN device. Are you aware of CERN?
No,
capital
sir.
C, capital E, capital R, capital N. I suggest you research it.
Yes, sir.
And D-Wave quantum computers are working in conjunction with this CERN device, causing supernatural things to happen on this planet right now. And part of that is our Bibles, the King James Bibles, starting with those, are now being supernaturally altered. Bibles in our possession, in our homes, and I can guarantee you this is a fact. I spent years in biblical studies. I know the scriptures. And I was sent a video a couple months ago by somebody in Scotland saying, Bill, are you aware of this? And I said, no. I dismissed it. I was sort of like Jimmy. I said, I don't have time for this. I'm busy. But God really put it on my spirit that I should take a look at this video. And I did, and I said, all right, I'll disprove this right now. I have 4 King James Bibles. The one that travels with me is 20 years old. I have one in the top of my closet in my office that is 100 years old.
And you're claiming they just magically changed.
I'm telling you right now.
Does this have something to do with a couple planets being in retrograde?
They call this thing the Mandela effect and all this stuff. I don't know about all that other stuff, but I guarantee you this. I can prove it to you. These scriptures have been changed. They have been supernaturally altered, starting with the Lord's Prayer. Hundreds of scriptures have been changed now. So the Lord's Prayer is, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth
as it is in heaven.
On earth as it is done in heaven. Okay, stop right there. Now it's changed to in earth. We don't live in earth, but now it's changed to in earth.
Wow.
That's just one thing.
And they used to say trespasses.
Right. It used to say trespasses. Now it says debts and debtors.
Wow. This is news.
But see, the only thing, the reason, if I could finally say something.
Let P. Hill get his point in. Let P. Hill get his point in.
If I could finally say something, the main reason, see, the thing is, all right, first of all, if a person ever says, how come God this, how come God that, you not even paying attention to the fact that you already acknowledged the existence. Period.
Very true.
Let's be realistic. Period. You acknowledge the existence. If you say the devil, you acknowledge the existence.
We're not denying the existence.
But when you can't say, well, you can say it, but it's kind of a contradiction to say, well, I don't believe in that. God exists, or I can't acknowledge the fact of God's existence, but you just did by saying the word God.
See, I disagree with that.
Right.
I disagree
let me finish.
Go ahead.
Why would it be a relative term? Why not just say, and see, that's the thing, why not just say, I don't believe in the theory of a divine energy or whatever. You wouldn't acknowledge it.
It's just word. It's
because
word.
I have a lot of
it's word.
Right, it's
why
word.
would you
It's
just
words.
wordplay?
We have to use. That's how we communicate.
But
We
that's
use
an-
words
that's an
that
excuse.
exist.
It's like a fart, man. You don't see it, but you can smell it.
You keep saying. We keep saying words.
But how do you know if it is a fart? No,
Oh my God! You can smell it.
Right. But see, you're not thinking. You're not thinking.
What are you talking
You're not
about?
thinking. You're not thinking. You're saying you can smell it, but even if you can smell it, how do you know what it is?
Because it came out somebody's ass. That's how.
And it smells like steak and bacon.
Yeah, but I mean,
then it's not identifiable for the simple fact that you don't know what it is.
Hold on. All right, let's all calm down. I'm sorry. I want to hear from the caller. I mean, how do you feel about this? I mean, we're all tossing thoughts around. That's why the show's called Speak Your Mind. It's pretty loose, as you can tell.
Yeah.
How do you feel about some of the ideas that we're throwing around here? I mean, this is not something easy. Not everybody's just not going to just accept some of these things, some of these notions, some of these thoughts and ideas, because we are all free-willed people, and most of us claim to be capable of using our minds to see logically.
Sure. I mean, that's the way we're programmed.
Mm-hmm.
From birth. But I mean,
that's right.
I went to Roman Catholic school growing up. I mean, I've been through the Bible millions of times. They beat it into you in school,
mm-hmm.
and the Lord's Prayer has been the Lord's Prayer forever.
True.
And then all of a sudden you open it up now, and it's totally different. How did that change in the book? In the same book that I had when I was in school and reading it, and it's different now. And that ain't the only thing that's changed.